Which vaccine would y'all like to hear about today? I've got them all. Polio?
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Escambia County Board of County Commissioners Public Forum. The Gary Sanzing Public Forum is intended for matters not included on the agenda for the upcoming Board of County Commissioner meeting. Citizens wishing to attend items on the agenda should sign up to speak such items in the regular Board of County Commissioner meetings. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, disruptive outbursts, protests, or other conduct which interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chair to allow sufficient time for all speakers. We have 6 speakers, so 3 minutes is fine. Albert Jackson Jr., you're first, and Jerry Price, you're on deck. Is Albert Jackson here? Okay, Jerry, you're up then, and we'll come back to Albert.
Nice to see you all again. My name's Jerry Price. I live at 27 Gulf Street in District 2. And first thing on the list, I want to thank you all for what you've done in the homeless situation and trying to do your best to alleviate the problems. I come here to talk tonight or today about New Warrington Road and Mobile Highway median. It's 7.5 feet wide. They can panhandle on that median. There's been fighting, fist fighting, because they don't want to take turns and people want to bully themselves on the median. I keep thinking that there was a law or an ordinance that was passed and it had about 10 medians that you were going to make off limits. And I don't know what happened with that, or maybe I heard something wrong, I'm not sure. But there's the ones you have gotten rid of. I know Mike, you was instrumental in the Sonic Steel, getting rid of it, and Jones Swamp. And I've even gone out to a couple of these tents, I call them tent cities, and cleaned up. And a couple of them have been 6-8 dumpsters. Got one coming up on Fairfield Railroad Bridge there by Hollywood. I bet there's 20 dumpsters, maybe more, in there. I don't charge them. I just go out there and clean it up. I just jump in, pitch in. Do that a lot on roads and things like that, and call code enforcement, and they come and pick it up, or call the prisoner control and they come out and pick it up. Code enforcement is the best organization you guys have got in this county. If you guys give anybody a raise, they need to get raises. I am dead serious about that. They do a great job. Mike, you mentioned one time about getting rid of that median, bulldozing it out and paving it. Personally, I think that's a great idea. I just wish you had the money to do it and you could come up with the money to do it. I don't know now that you're chair that you can make things happen or not, but I wish some other people here would get on board and see if that can happen. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Price, just a couple things. This board did pass an ordinance. It was over a year ago, so it was with the 2 new members. The sheriff's very familiar with that site. Unfortunately, you can't have someone there all the time, but I know that he polices that area constantly. So, well, I'll talk to our Public Works Department and see what some options are, but thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Buddy Stromberger, are you out there, buddy? Come on up. And Keith, you're on deck.
My name is Buddy Stromberg. I live at 5671 Cruzat Way. And I want to discuss about the Galvez boat launch. I'm glad to see you guys are dogging this off.
Will you pull the microphone over just a little bit?
I said I'm glad to see you guys are dogging this project off and moving the money elsewhere. But there's still work that needs to be done at that launch. Now, Mr. Marino, you were involved with this back when it got repaved. I asked the little engineer there, we're going to put something there to keep that water from running off and washing the dirt away from those trees. Well, they said, yeah, it never happened. So for just a little bit, we can get the concrete bumpers that you use for parking curbs, get some of them Camp 5 boys out there, and have them put some of them in there to keep that water from running. If you put them in there right, you can have that water diverted towards the boat launch this way and the other way. The other part where y'all wanted to build the boat launch at, it needs sand brought in because nothing was ever done after Sally. So it'd be nice if we could see some sand brought back in there. If you don't, the beach is going to erode away. And the new dock and everything that they built over there for the playground area, I don't know if y'all sent an engineer out there to look at it, but the next hurricane we have, it's going to go away, just like the last one did, because it's built just like the last one. There's a 1-inch stainless steel strap about this wide, about this long, just tying that together. The deck to the pilings going into the ocean. So when you save some money by beefing that up, because you know, you were down there and stuff, and then if we would take, say, this money from the boat launches that we're going to save and purchase some land for another boat launch, because Escambia County has 9 boat launches. I think 4 of them are in the city. The rest of them are in the county. On Gulf Beach Highway alone, back in the 60s and 70s, there was 4 boat launches out there. But we have fell so far behind times. Santa Rosa is sitting with 28 boat launches. Our population is more than Santa Rosa County's. So we got to back up and rethink this problem. I mean, what you're doing over on the beach is fine because people come to Florida, they want to go to the beach. But hell, you can't go to the beach. When Johnson Beach fills up, you're done. So just a few words out there that maybe y'all want to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Keith
I'd like to
Bell?
make a comment about that first.
Okay.
Mr. Stromberg, you don't have, you can sit down, it's okay, I just want to talk to you directly. So you know that we brought sand out there? We did bring sand out to Galvez and some picnic tables out there. We do want to stabilize that, we got to. I'm guessing you're a boater, right?
Well, yeah, I've been living out there, and that boat launch was one ramp and it was sand.
Right, I know. We're going to have to fix that eventually, we're going to do that, and we will do that. But
Doug Underhill was in there tearing everything up. There were picnic tables down there that've been there forever.
So you know that just a couple days ago, we stopped that. We're not going to do that. And I'm going to change my language about Galvez. There's words that trigger the folks out there, and it's expansion, it's things like that, words like that. Because really, the operable word was improve. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to improve it. And it was going to be a good project. No money was diverted from any other project to do this. No money was. So, and I'm not saying that you're telling me that, but
Sir, I remember one of their improvements they done out there.
Steve.
We asked them to restripe the parking lot. Yeah, they did, right through the damn potholes.
we'll get it right.
All that money was done, and this is back under Underhill's reign.
Thank you, Mr. Stroberger. I appreciate your comments.
Thank you, sir.
Keith Bowe?
I don't see Keith Bowe. I'm here to talk about flood defenders. I don't see Chris Kerb here right now, but a public forum would not be complete if we didn't bring up flood defenders. What comes to my mind is August, September, and October are our extreme rainy seasons when we're generally at risk for getting a hurricane. And so we really need to look at the culverts and drains to make sure that they're clear, we don't flood the roads. And I'd like to bring to attention of everyone that we now have a no-wake zone on our public highways when they get flooded. Something people may not realize, but it's very important. But just think of what Chris Kerb would say. He says it all the time. Make sure our numbers are up to the national standards, and I don't know what all those numbers are, but I know we're not doing enough. So let's do what we can, and we'll get an opinion from Chris Kerb later on. So, and overall, you guys are doing a great job. I don't feel the dissension that we had in years past. So I really like how this is working, and our county is doing real well, I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Nice comment. Norman Jetter are you out there? You're up, sir. Larry, you're on deck.
Hey, Norman Jeter is my name. I live at 5514 Bobolink Road, Pensacola, Florida, out by North Point. I'm glad to see you guys are rethinking the Galvez boat landing area, and that's very good. And people are very passionate about that out there, and I think you're getting a good idea how passionate they are. That's good. Buddy brought it up, and I was going to bring it up, but the maintenance it would be a good thing. Some simple maintenance just to divert the rainwater, the amount of rainwater that comes down rather quickly. If it could just get diverted and a little more control going where it ends up going, so it doesn't just dig big old ditches. And I wasn't going to speak about this, but I will very quickly. We still have drainage issues at the end of Bobolink, on the north end of Bobolink and Cruzat. I live on the very far north end, right across the street from Perdido Bay on Bobolink. And Underhill came down there with his gigantic plan to make the water flow basically uphill. We're so very low there. The ditch now that exists in my front yard is actually lower than sea level. When the tide comes up, the water goes towards the south in the opposite direction that it's designed to, and when the tide goes out, some of the water goes, to Perdido Bay like it's supposed to, but there's always water in the ditch because it is below sea level, and you just can't make water go uphill, and that's the big fuss I had with Underhill years ago. Maybe a little something in the future, if we look at that would be good, because if the water is going to sit there, it might be better actually whatever ditches are open down there. We have plenty of areas for well, there already are drains and grates that funnel the water to where there is underground piping, but in some areas we've got if the areas that are going to stay underwater, whether we like it or not, because we can't fix that under sea level, we can't make water go uphill. So if we could continue the culvert system going down to Perdido Bay, because the culvert system it begins again before it gets to Perdido Bay, but the area that stays wet, if we could just go ahead and keep that underground, it's a real snaky situation with snakes and weeds, and it wouldn't cost much to get the road department to put down some culverts and put dirt on top of it. And I wasn't going to talk about that today, so I don't really have any facts about that, but that would be a good thing. And again, the boat ramp, I'm happy to see the direction that it's going in, and I agree with that guy. The feeling up here, I haven't been up here much lately, but it's a lot different now than it was a couple of years ago. So you guys are doing a good job. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Norman. That's very nice. Larry Downs, you're up next, and Lawrence Fetterman, you're on deck. Oh, boy.
Larry Downs, Junior Plumbing, LLC, because fecal matters. I got to tell y'all, before I get done here, I want to tell y'all about my new slogan. I come up with another one. But since I got a request for the polio, I have all of these things. These are the things you can get at your pharmacy if they'll give them to you. But stop giving your children and yourselves these corporate chemical injections. They're global. 90% of the components in these vaccines are made in China. Can you imagine letting your enemy give you stuff to put in your children? That doesn't even make sense, does it? Is there any wonder why our boys are so weak? They've messed up their immune systems and their hormone systems, lowering their testosterone. You can Google that. So anyways, the polio vaccine. This is a very interesting one, because Trump and Kamala Harris, all of them talked about the in vitro fertilization, IVF treatment, how they're going to do it for free. All right, polio, and it's so small. It's written so small. Carcinogenesis, mutagenesis, impairment of fertility. Long-term studies in animals to evaluate carcinogenic potential or impairment of fertility have not been conducted. That's the polio. That's the go-to safe and effective drug. Now listen, you don't have to do this to send your kids to children, or send your children or your kids to school. You don't have to do it. You can go to the health department, get an exemption. I mean, can you imagine that? Land of the free, home of the brave, and you got to go get an exemption for some freedom. Shouldn't the freedom be the default setting? Shouldn't you have to opt into something? Not opt into freedom, opt into the magic juice shots. So anyways, I just wanted to show you the Prior-X, the MMR. Jeez, man. I'll just give y'all a simple one here. The MMR, you know, kids need 3 doses of this. Little children, 1-year-olds. MMR by Merck, and this one's from Prior-X, Merck and Company, 13.1. Carcinogenesis, mutagenesis, impairment of fertility. MMR2 vaccines have not been evaluated for carcinogenic or mutagenic potential or impairment of fertility. Period. What happened to safe and effective? How in the world would y'all think that that would be a good idea? My favorite part in this is that one of the adverse reactions, the number 2 one, is stereotypical measles. Yeah. I mean, that's, and then fever, syncope, headaches, dizziness. I don't know what that is. But anyways, there's a bunch of fancy words in there. Stop doing it. MissionObvious.com.
Thank you, Larry.
Hey, if any of y'all want to come sit down with me.
I think Commissioner May would, but, you know, Lawrence Fetterman is, you're up next.
May is. He done committed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman.
Hi. I live at 4971 Bellevue Avenue. I know they're talking about putting this.
So will you pull the microphone?
housing-
Sometimes it's hard. Yeah, just get up a little closer so we can hear you.
I'm sorry.
Get a little closer to the microphone, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is this better? Okay. All right. And I live there in Bellevue, and they're talking about putting all these projects homes or whatever across the street from my house. We bought that 3 years ago, and that's just going to dump the value of our property and everybody else's through there, trying to put all that in there. Nobody's going to want to live there. Crime rate's going up. I see it every day. I'll get notifications on my phone. You know, it's all around us, up on from Blue Angel Highway and the other one, whatever, where the other intersection by us and the farmer's market and stuff, where Bellevue runs into the light that by the library there. The traffic is atrocious. Had a guy the other day, we've tried to get cops out there to run some radar or whatever. They fly up and down Bellevue. Somebody's going to get killed. And they ended up, yep, sure enough, he come flying down the road. I was standing in the garage and it had some rain. Boom, right in the telephone pole in my front yard. Then he jumps out screaming at me because I was out there taking a picture of him for tearing up my yard. And then he takes off and then cussing and swearing me up one side and down the other because I was photographing it. You know, and so somebody's going to get killed, and we need to get that controlled. But that much housing, the flooding we have, we got 2 retention ponds out there. You watch after heavy rain, you go take a look. There's no water in them. They're empty. So your draining system sucks. Something's wrong. It's not tied up right. Rain's real heavy. We get a 2-3 inch rain. The toilets will back up. They don't overflow, but they'll back up. So you got somehow rainwater's getting in with the sewer lines and plugging that and stopping that flow. I had to get somebody from Rotorua, whatever, to come out because the city wouldn't do anything. No, you got to check your line. We're not going to check it, you know. And the line's fine. It's your system. I was told once by somebody that the lines that were put in, the sewer lines and drain lines or whatever, are inadequate size for the amount of people that live there. Now, I don't know that, I can't prove it, but that's what I was told. But we've only been there 3 years, and I can't afford to sell that and get up and move. Hell, I'm going blind, and the
Mr.
wife's
Fetterman,
not
can
that
you
healthy,
finalize your
so-
thoughts, please?
Pardon?
Can you finalize your thoughts? Your time's up, but I'm going to give you a second to finalize your thoughts. Last words, sir. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, that's it. If you can, but putting all those homes in there, it's going to kill us.
Did you file a police report on your property? The guy that
No,
hit
'cause
you?
after I got down there and looked at it, they weren't going to do anything about it anyways.
Okay,
It was
just
the
was
deep
curious.
tire trucks. But, you know, but that happens all the time. There was an accident there, and lady that cut the corner, they're going too fast, hit the guy, two guys on a motorcycle. One got hauled to the hospital. The sheriff was sitting there writing up the accident after everything was cleared up. 8 people, I sat there and watched, 8 people ran that stop sign, and he's sitting right there.
Mr. Fetterman, I appreciate your concern. We understand your concern about public
Okay,
safety.
so-
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Chief Mary Konopka. I haven't seen you in a while, Chief. And Andrew Johnson's on deck.
Hi, Mary. Is my lawnmower done yet?
No, but I got
Can we
word,
limit her to just 1 minute until my lawnmower's fixed? Okay.
I got a word from Honda that the part's en route. And before you put me on a timer, I put on my little request that I had stuff to distribute. I've got 6 thumb drives here. Who wants them?
Anyone in the audience that wants to raise their hand? No, I'm just kidding. No. You know, I'm messing with you, Chief. Please, Jose, hand them out to us.
I'm sorry.
This ain't going to contaminate the IT computer system, is it?
No, I thought it'd be good to you. I know you're pissed at me for some of my jokes, but I thought I'd be good to y'all. I have not installed any viruses. So let me know when you want me to start.
Go ahead.
I wish you could put one of those thumb drives up there. This is from the rain on June 29th that freaking drowned the neighborhood. It shows houses just covered with water, their front yards. Ditches full, drainage ponds overflowing, except for Hogan Pit. Right behind me, didn't have a drop of water in it. It was all in my yard and my neighbor's yard. Down the road, Muldoon and Midas, there's another pit. It did not have a drop of water in it. So what's going on? Why can't water get to Hogan Pit? There was a meeting, planning board meeting, that Joy Blackman was at, and she said, time out, my sugar monitor's going crazy. Shh. Sorry.
Let me know
Joy
if you-
Blackman said, I don't have the land and I don't have the money to fix this. So we're gonna go in cahoots with the PUD that they're proposing up on Bellevue. And she said, because Hogan Pit used to be a landfill, and there might be some dangerous stuff buried there, and it would cost us a lot more money to figure that out. I have been telling everybody for a long time that Hogan Pit was a landfill. I lived there, and all of a sudden it's, oh, well, can't do anything with that. So let's go in cahoots with, forget his name, Tom Holland, I think. Anyway, he's the engineer for this PUD. And I said, every time the county lets some engineer do whatever. They build, they leave, the county has money, and the county has to spend money. And that guy got up and said, oh, since 2014, all my stuff has been great. Well, my 3 minutes was up, so I couldn't tell him, you know, yes, in your reality, everything's great. But in real, if you look at Monarch Place 2018 that he did, the county has spent $1.5 million fixing it, and they're not done yet. The problem is that the county doesn't have any boots on the ground. That's how you get intelligence. Boots on the ground and satellite. Well, when it's raining cats and dogs and it's cloud cover, you can't get satellite. You need boots on the ground. And I don't see anybody that has fought through the floodwaters to see what really goes on.
I appreciate your comments, Mary. I know this is, touches your heart, and I'm listening.
I have a business.
I know. I've been to
It's
it.
washing away property, and all the tree roots are now exposed. And you don't want me to mow over roots with your lawnmowers. I'm telling you, you really don't want that. Neither do I. But, you know, watch the video.
Thank you for your comments, and I appreciate you coming down and sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And-
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just as a reminder to the board members, the PUD is a quasi-judicial hearing, which will be on your August 7th agenda, and your decision on the PUD will have to be based on the record as part of that hearing and not outside evidence.
And honestly, Allison, isn't that like the third one we've done we don't do those very often.
We don't do PUDs very often. There are items related to this on your growth management report. You're scheduling them for August 7th.
Okay, thank you. That's important
Does that
information.
mean I have to make 7 more thumb drives? That's a little expensive.
We
Yes,
can-
no?
We got it, because we're going to, the board, I don't think is changing before August. So we'll have it. Andrew Johnson, you're next.
Hello, good evening. This is my first time addressing the board. Mr. Berry, thank you for leading our district strong and always looking up, doing the best thing you can for the county. First, I'd personally like to thank each and every one of you for the time that you have. So let me start over, I'm sorry. First, I'd like to personally thank you for each and every one of you for the time you've been here and bearing the burden of the citizens of Escambia County. It doesn't go unnoticed. Also, your unwavering devotion to integrity by doing the right thing, even when it isn't the most favorable. With that being said, I'd like to address a ongoing issue. It's Lieber Lane, Bob White and Packwood. It's a not county maintained road, and the way it had been planned out, or years ago, there was a man by the name of Mr. Glover, Bob Glover, had bought this section of property. With that being said, he's done passed, and he was in contact before he passed to get the maintenance and the serviceability maintained through the county. And ever since then, ever since he's passed, me and my fellow neighbors have came together and used what we could, all means necessary, to keep maintenance and serviceability to the road. Anyways, for the last 8 years, we've exhausted all avenues of keeping the road in a manner suitable for daily use. Our neighbors are on average of between 60 and 65 years of age. We as neighbors personally believe it would not be a good outcome if a fire department or EMS, local EMS, would try to safely enter or exit with a serious emergency. And mind you, I'm at the very end of Lieber Lane. I have a 6-year-old child. Our last issue is during Hurricane Sally recovery cleanup, an out-of-state power company placed a power pole in the middle of the road, and I addressed it with FPL, and so has my neighbor, and his name was Lady Brown, and he was told by FPL that until he updates or develops his property, that the poles stay there till it's developed, and they don't see a sense of moving it. With all that being said, I understand there's a lot of moving parts dealing with issues like this. I have confidence in the system placed before us to continue to make Escambia great again. thank you for your time and consideration for this matter. And let me leave you with this, with Mr. Mike Glover, I'm sorry, not Mike Glover, with Mr. Glover and his estate is on their shoulders to update the road, maintenance and what have you. I don't want to have a 20-year mistake or a mishandling from Mr. Glover's estate to fall on the shoulders of approximately 30 to 40 citizens of Escambia County. I'd like to see if this could get looked into further, please. If we could start the process. But that's what I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Barbara Mayo, you're up next. Barbara, I want to apologize. I saw you called me, and I've been on the phone, and, you know, I call you back. I know. I'm sorry about that. I saw that like an hour and a half ago, and I've been on working, but thank you for coming down. I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Could have made it a lot easier if you had answered my call. No, I'm kidding.
You want to see me? No.
Well, I'm kind of feel like I'm home. Haven't been here in a while, but it's good to be in here, and it's good to see every one of you. And it's a good thing, I guess, that I'm not here a whole lot. But Andrew and I go to church together. He has 2 children and a phenomenal wife, and he was telling me about the road, and I thought the best way, you know, he could contact Stephen Barry's, his county commission, and he did contact his office today. Just to get some clarity, maybe he can give him an appointment and get clarity on what basically has to be done. But, you know what it's like trying to get EMS, and he has a 6-year-old. So we're looking at a road, it's got potholes and a pole, a telephone pole in the middle of the road. It's not just potholes. It's awful. EMS would have a bad time doing that, going through there. And, you know, with the elderly as well. I know we can do better, and I know it may take a little something extra, but that's what Escambia County's made of. We're made of that little extra. We go above and beyond of the minimum of what we are supposed to do to help our neighbor. So I am pleading that y'all listen to him. I know it's his first time, and he's really passionate about this, and it's just about the safety. There's nothing in it for him, and as he was telling me, the person who owned the property passed away, and it's been 15 years. There was a promise made to him about the road if he developed some property, and so he passed away, and I think I'm not saying they're being ignored, I just don't think it's been high priority, and the neighbors probably don't know how to reach out to Commissioner Barry as some folks. If you're elderly, you don't, especially with tech now. So I would appreciate it if y'all would listen and do what you can for him in this manner. Thanks,
Thank you,
and good to see you
Commissioner Barry,
again.
I see your lights on.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, and Barbara, you can have a seat. I mean, I pass this area, 3 or 4 times a day. It's between our home and the kids' school, and I grew up about a quarter mile from Libra Lane, so I'm very, very familiar with it. It's an unfortunate circumstance. I believe we probably all have them in our districts. When the schedule of maintained roads was adopted in the late 90s, I believe, Allison, was 99, 2000 when we adopted roads? It was before Kevin was commissioner, I know that, but regardless, it was in that time frame, 96 to 2000, in that time frame. This area, he mentioned, there are 3 roads on the south side of Kingsfield that are private. For whatever reason, there are 3 roads that are directly across from those on the north side of Kingsfield that are publicly maintained. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I rode the bus with these kids. I mean, you pick up kids from both sides of the road, but for whatever reason, at the time, the county adopted the ones we would maintain and the ones that we would not maintain. The 3 on the north side were added, the 3 on the south side were not, and that limits the county's ability to go in and do a lot of work. The issue with the pole in the road, that ought to be manageable, and Andrew, I'll be happy to try to help you with that. And we will, we'll certainly see what we can do about trying to help with the roads. They are bad, And it's just been, it's one of those challenges, like I said, I think we all have these issues in our district where, some historical unfairness. I mean, I believe that at the time that you had certain roads get adopted and ones that didn't. Who knows what the story was. I didn't know Mr. Glover personally, but, maybe he wasn't, maybe he didn't have good relationships at the time. Maybe that's why those roads weren't adopted at the time. Who knows? But whatever the reason is, it wasn't fair, but we'll work with him and try to see what we can do.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Albert Jackson, are you in the audience? Oh, Albert, please come up.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah, I was supposed to come to one of these meetings years ago, but it looks like timing of everything that's happened has brought me here today. In previous meetings, you've had conversations about public safety, the safety of children, the financial budget of county municipalities. In 2021, my 14-year-old son and I were accused of being a 6-foot-tall, 200-pound, olive-skinned Hispanic male wearing a shoulder-length black wig, blue pants, long-sleeve gray shirt. Neither me nor my son matched the description of the subject. Allegedly, the subject pistol whipped a bank employee in commission of a bank robbery. The victim was upset when ECSO showed me to him. ECSO failed to follow their general orders, state law, and uphold their oaths to the Florida Constitution and the Constitution of the United States. My son, who looked like he was like a 12-year-old, was held in handcuffs so tight that he was passing out in and out of consciousness in the back of the patrol vehicle. He asked for help, but was denied any. Simply put, we were tortured. Do you know how hot the inside of a patrol vehicle can get to, parked in the sun in the middle of August without its AC on? When we were finally released, I told the deputies what they had done and that they celebrated with a fist bump. They failed to catch the suspect. They further upset the victim and created 5 more victims. 1, a minor child, 2 others, former county employees at the Escambia County Sheriff's Office. They still have the nerve to come to our home and ask for our help for crimes that have been committed elsewhere in the county. If a crime was committed on you, your wife, your children, and grandchildren, will you expect our help? Okay. I've never seen a group of people so celebratory in their own failures and so greatly rewarded for their failures. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Eric Sharplin?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to come down for a couple of minutes. I wanted to
Eric, close the, we lower the mic just like, there you go.
Okay. I wanted to first congratulate Commissioner Strohberger on getting OLF8 done. And from what I can see, you're doing a really good job for your constituents, representing them. And I wanted to congratulate Commissioners May and Kohler on getting the school crossing done. That's a great thing when y'all can come together and work together. And all this thing about the MSBU, all the feathers being fluffed, I was told by a county commissioner, that's been resolved by a 25% lease increase. So I assume that issue is now resolved.
We're discussing that tonight, Eric.
Okay. But that's the main thing, is working together. It seems like this board has had a lot less tension on it than in the past, and I think y'all are all doing a good job, Mr. Chairman. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric. Okay, everyone, that concludes our public forum. We'll reconvene at 5:30 for a regular board meeting.